Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot technically believe what I'm about to say, but at the same time I can. You know, this racing world is a microcosm of how the world operates. And I've seen this type of situation impact the entire racing world in more ways than y'all can even fathom. In fact, most of the situations you've seen between drivers and their car owners, tracks, and this and that, and the other sponsors, blah, 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 usually comes down to this scenario. And fortunately or unfortunately, we have a grand example here at Bridgeport. And I'm not necessarily saying we should shame what's going on, but we should be more aware of what's happening in this racing world. And this example and situation should not necessarily shame people from doing it, but scare people from doing it. Because it's something that more people need to take responsibility of. Now we have a public explanation here of what's going on for those who don't know it. The Short Track Super Series off at Bridgeport. This was posted today. Bridgeport, one of the best racetracks in the country. It says, with 2 days of forecasted rain during the upcoming days and outside factors, glad they put that in there, the Short Track Super Series, fueled by Sunoco, has withdrawn from this weekend's 60 over special. The decision was announced late Thursday. Bridgeport will go on with the event's unsanctioned, weather permitting, on Sunday. The series hopes to return to Bridgeport for its scheduled Sunday, July 9th date. At first, a guy messaged me when this came out and said, hey, it's not what they're saying. It's not weather. He's like, these outside factors have to do with Ryan Godowns not being allowed to race at the track. And there's a situation behind the scenes that's happened to where the track of Bridgeport's not allowing him to race. And the series is standing with Godowns on this situation and pulling out of the event. So I had to dig a little deeper and to figure out why. And I'm going to start off by saying, for those who are about to be extremely offended by this and can't believe that I said this, oh my God. You know, I got into a conversation with a very prominent streaming service, the leader of a streaming service, and it was based on a recent interview that I did, and somebody got their feelings really hurt, apparently went to Facebook crying about it. And I said to this man, I said, you know, outside of some issues and this and that and the other, I worry big time that if me, for instance, and my pleading to get mainstream attention to dirt track racing and racers and respect and recognition, you know, nationally into the world, you know, letting the world know who we are and what we do. Would any of them be able to handle actual fame? Actual fame. You know, you can find thousands of articles hating, making things up, videos, radio shows, trashing professional athletes across this country, owners, all kinds of stuff. If you're involved in a national sport on a national level with respectable and recognition, you're getting trashed most of the time. And I wonder if we have any stars in our sport that could handle actual fame. Even if it's TMZ like what I'm about to tell you. Because that comes with it as well. Can any of y'all in y'all's little pitting areas and little cliques and little scenarios that y'all got going on be prepared for that to be exposed on national television? Mainstream? You know, the reason I'm going to be talking about this today is because there's a lot of people in the dirt track world that need to clean their act up. Because if the Larsons and the Chazes and all these people who want dirt to get this national recognition finally get it, you might be a little bit too damn dirty to be able to handle it. So I reached out to a few people in the community of the Northeast modified scene. Of course, I raced up there, so I know quite a bit of people. It was my last time I raced, actually, was up there in those type of modifieds. And this scenario I'm going to read to you, even though it is about this person and this scenario and this whole situation, this type of crap is happening across the board on both sides of the fence. And when I say fence, I'm talking about male and female. So here is the explanation that I got. And no, I will never name who this is coming from. They want to claim it, they can. So I asked her, what's the situation with Bridgeport? She's very involved in the sport and knows a lot. Women don't get enough credit, the good ones. She said, so I guess Go Down's old lady got caught with the guy that owns Bridgeport's son. She puts, I'm not sure if that's the relationship or not, but something close to that. She continues. So at the motorsport show in Philadelphia in January, Go Down's kid and this guy got into a fight. And it was a big shit show because his car was in the Bridgeport booth at the show. So now the guys with money behind Bridgeport say they refuse to let Ryan race there. That's what I was told. The Short Track Super Series and the Super Dirt Car Series had a meeting and both agreed that if a driver is in good standing of the series, they should be allowed to race. And when Deo told that to D. Rose, the promoter at Bridgeport, he hung up the phone on Deo. I said, wow, well, I guess I'll be banned from another track after reporting on this. But these types of actions definitely need to be pointed out as wrong. Now, there could be something to it. Did Ryan, skedaddle off to the side and it was like a revenge thing? Who knows, right? Who knows? There's always this side, that side, and then the truth somewhere murked up in the middle. But for it to affect the racing world itself over these actions, in my opinion, constitutes it being pointed out. Now, you women in the racing world, I'm not trying to say, y'all are just a bunch of evil people, because y'all are not. Y'all are in a very interesting situation where it's kind of like throwing the meat into the ocean with all these great white sharks. There's not too many of y'all out there in comparison to how many men there are. So you and a lot of the women in this racing world are approached all the time because the ratio is so out of whack. And for some reason, the slut butt mentality is very popular in the racing world as well. On both sides of the fence, especially on the driver's side. I've had to explain to a few people when it comes to the male domain that sometimes these marriages and kids and all that, I'll hear people say all the time, oh, well, he would never do such a thing. He's married and has kids. Well, I'll tell you what, my eyes have told me different. And see, me just sitting here admitting that I will narc, I guess in the male community they'll say that I will narc on destructive behavior that the male community chooses to act in, that now people would be scared to do those types of things around me because they know that I'm telling the enemy known as woman. At the end of the day, I think that there's good and bad women, and the world's hard to live in. And it takes a really good woman or a really good man to be able to push through all of these obstacles, able to go through the time in life and not become bad. It's really hard to stay good in this world, especially in this racing community that, almost promotes these types of actions and scenarios to be a reality. But I do think in this racing world that since there are so many men and not too many females in it, that y'all can recognize the power that y'all actually have. As much strength that the man may have over the woman, the number one strength of human beings in general is their minds. We're just smarter than everything else. I know I ain't stronger than a bear or a lion, but I'm smarter than that bear or lion. That's why I'm the dominant species on Earth. That's why we are the dominant species on Earth. So hopefully y'all will understand the power that y'all do have and act a little bit more responsibly. You already know that these guys out here are a bunch of hoes. So you can't really put it on them. Unless they take things a little too far and you're a victim of some kind of abusive situation, then definitely, call that asshole out. But if you say yes to 90% of the racing world, married with kids, in a relationship or not, you are playing a very decisive role in that decision. So in a way, this is a message to the women of the racing world. Hopefully some of the men can learn from it, but I mean, unfortunately, there's a lot more men that are slut buddy than women. And maybe some of those people who are potentially making some of those decisions and doing things behind closed doors that you know ain't right, maybe this video will influence you to not do those things anymore. Sort of like the cop and the coworkers. That situation was so shame that I guarantee a bunch of people out there who were doing the same thing, they stopped doing it. They don't want to beat her. They saw her go down in flames. Oh my God. So, hopefully this situation could do the same. Hopefully everybody over there figures it out. Hopefully everybody over there works it out. Obviously, there's some situations where people need to be let go emotionally and things need to be put in the past. Obviously, there was a fight, an altercation, all that, but hey, justify the means in that scenario. If what's being said and what's going around right now is factual, then hey, the kid and that younger guy, which obviously that's going to happen, should have possibly got into it. There should have been some kind of physical repercussions, not necessarily endorsing a fight, but you play with emotions, you play with the mind, the power of men, and they deal with it in that way. And now you have a situation like you do right now, which Bridgeport's one of the best racetracks, and Doug Rose and over them have done some of the greatest improvements to that facility than any facility in the country. And this is a very unfortunate situation where a bunch of people are being affected, and all that hard work could go down in flames. And I will stand by it. Women out there, not even just in the racing world, y'all need to recognize how much power you have because of how much of our minds you take up. So I just hope everyone figures this stuff out. And I think this situation somewhat needs to be put out there to the masses so that situations like this stop happening going forward. I had a situation earlier on Facebook where I removed a friend because a female thirst posting on Facebook just out of a relationship. Talking about freer than ever and crap. Posting, I mean, she's a very beautiful woman, posting in her bedroom with clothes skimpy and all that. In the mirror, full body shot. Hundreds of likes because the guys are so stupid in this racing community to endorse such decisions. Endorse such actions. And then crying and whining on Facebook and sharing Andrew Tate stuff. You wonder why this is happening? You're endorsing it. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoy the new sticker here. Just got my Drupa Please sticker in. Plenty of those on the website. New hats as well. Larsenite shirts also on there. Want to thank Velox and a few other people still sticking here with the Chaz. If you want to join the support, we have added new channel memberships. There's some pretty high, expensive ones so that we can continue to bring you truth and honesty and at least my thoughts. These are all just my opinions. They're not 100% factual. The story is a hearsay story. Who knows how factual it is? This is just what I'm hearing, and I guarantee you nobody will ever stamp it as factual. This type of stuff gets shoved under the rug all the time. So, fair warning, everybody. Before this dirt racing thing gets national and it ain't just me on YouTube talking about this, it's TMZ. Clean your ass up. Before you have a situation like this, or you're in a sprint car race at Grandview getting spun out. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, and as always, be sure to subscribe.
This is how we ride, this is how we do.